fire is an event that's been part of nature from the beginning. Native Americans started the practice of prescribed burning to keep the grasslands free of woody brush incursions. As the plains were settled, prairie fire became something to be avoided. Fire as a natural process has now been absent from our landscape for over a century. Across Texas, rangelands' woody vegetation has increased relative to grasslands. Texas landscape, rangelands, plant communities have evolved with a 3 to 8 year fire return interval. Prescribed burning is the primary answer to revitalizing our grasslands.
Born out of a rancher's need, this burn school happened, and it was all about 2 days, pretty intense, so we're going to move through a lot of material today. Introducing you to many sides of fire is very important because when you are in fire culture, especially in Texas, you're not just dealing with a certain type of person. You're going to meet volunteer fire department guys, you're going to meet prescribed burn association folks, probably some agency folks, probably nuthead nerds like me, and also ranchers as well. So being able to talk with those types of folks and really effectively communicate fire is very important.
Nearly all beneficial brush species in Texas are resprouting species in response to fire, grazing, and drought. Burning as a tool controls or manages unwanted woody plants.
In pre-burn planning, the important thing to do is to understand your land and determine your purpose and need. Most of you maybe burn on your own land or with your neighbors. You know that ground fairly well, so that's already way out ahead of the power curve there. That's good. If you're going to help somebody else, I find that a site visit is very, very, very important to be ready to burn. I mean, I don't know how you could do it without that. And then obviously maps are a big deal. To have some form of a measurable objective. What do I want to do? And that objective may not be an immediate thing. It may take multiple entries. I heard some guys in the lunchroom there talking about, well, I tried to get out and spray some prickly pear, this, that, and the other. I wasn't getting what I wanted, but I think maybe I'll get it next year or whatever. So patience is an important thing when working with natural processes.
We need to be able to have fires with 2 or 3 people on a unit. One way to do that is to start small with fire, and we built many a fire break at the home place with a backpack sprayer or a leaf blower, and a torch, and using a game trail. And you know, it's not rocket science, but you know, you can look at some grasses and know that that's going to burn a lot harder. It may burn over my edge. So we may step away from the trail and come back, but you have to be able to identify the good burners in your pasture and know how much buffer, you know, whether that could be right on the game trail or whether it needs to be a couple feet away.
We want to have number one, a safe fire, and to be able to get all of the scrub brush and stuff from the edges, we want to get it pushed in. You want to get it a good ways in, all the algerita, all the real quick flammable stuff, cedar, that type of stuff. Get it pushed in the unit. That way it's not a problem on the line.
We run 4 to 5 torches down the downwind boundary, and we start to build our black, and this is what you'll see us do tomorrow. We stagger them out, and Blackbird's torch 1, he goes and he sets the pace, and when he needs fuel, everybody stops and they come out. We pretty much have it orchestrated that way. But what we're looking for is that torch 2, if torch 1 is right on the edge of the fire guard, torch 2 might be 3 feet in, depending on how tall the grass is, how much brush. And what we want is for torch 2's flame to lay in the black. If torch 2 is too close to torch 1 and that fire is fire with torch 1, then we just created this wall of fire that is hotter and more volatile than the 2 separate rows of fire. And we do that, you know, 4 to 5 torches. We're looking to get, you know, 40 to 50 feet if we can, and we keep doubling our space. Once that first and second torch goes through, I'm ignoring the fire guard. It's just a safety measure, but I'm building off black and not using the fire guard to stop the fire. I'm using the black to stop the fire.
Planning for a prescribed burn and also anticipation of maybe shortcutting or preventing a wildfire, you got to understand your vegetation. The fuel types are very important. We've got a lot of pear, mesquite, cedar, grass, open grasslands down here in this Edwards Plateau country, and then you get up north of here and it's more of what I call open grassland. So you need to be aware of fire activity and how it burns, because it does burn different. Something else to be aware of is weeds. Know what your invasive weeds are, know what your noxious weeds are, what the noxious weed list is, know what your native grasses and your non-native grasses are. You know, there is professional help around to help you identify them if you don't know where they are. When you get to the point where you're making maps and outlining burn unit areas and contingency lines, it's good to know where these weed sites are. You can even label them on your map so fire trucks and dozers, trackhoes, whatever, don't go through these noxious weed areas and spread them for you.
A professionally managed prescribed burn is part of the Texas A&M AgriLife prescribed burn training.
So we are going to let them carry the torch?
Yes,
Okay.
preferably. Maybe you carry, and you use your best judgment. Maybe you carry a little bit at first, show them how it's done, the technique, the placement of it, and then you pass it on. How quickly you want to switch that torch out within your crew and your team is totally up to you. So how this is going to break up is we've got 10 torch teams, and if I could have every torch team leader come forward, please. Okay, safety is going to be our #1 priority here, so I need you all to listen to these men as much as possible. We're going to have vehicles circling around the unit with water. I need y'all to watch out for smoke, okay? Smoke inhalation, watch how you breathe. If it's getting too much, you need to step out and say something to your torch leader. This is rangeland country, so there's always dangers. That includes snakes, rocks, holes. Please do not twist an ankle. Please be very cautious when walking. Everybody should have a map. Okay, that map is your best friend.
We have people that do not want to carry a torch and just want to watch from the perimeter. Does anybody not want? And the man with his hand up is the attorney that owns this place. That's why there's a waiver. We're going to need to walk single file while we're out there, and your torch leader is going to be in front, and they're going to be giving instructions on where to lay the flame. And we're going to break it into 2 or 3 people at a time with the drip torch. A drip torch has got a distance of maybe 0.2 of a mile, and then we're going to come out for fuel.
Built our first line of black. Okay, this is our backfire. This is the most conservative part of the fire. It started out very tame, and some people had a lot of questions asking me if I was meeting objectives. And guess what I said? Hell yes we are, okay? Because what was going to happen as that day progressed, as the morning progressed? RH went down, okay? The sun came out. We had some radiant heating on our fuels. Okay, getting that moisture out, and Mother Nature started working with us as everybody progressed toward Alpha and Bravo.
Fire is the tool. You add the fire is the process in itself. We're just setting her loose, and we're being really smart about how we're doing it because we just built this giant catcher's mitt. I mean, turn around and look, you can see smoke over there. That's Charlie through that notch in the trees.
And remember, it tapers, it bottlenecks as we get further on that side.
That's 1.5 miles, 1.4 is what we just put in a fire. And really, if we were doing this commercially or at home, we'd zip the next 1 or 2 in with the 4-wheeler, and we'd habit. You know, we'd start with our first line of black is right on the fire guard, and that's the coolest we can have a fire close to the edge of escaping. And so that's how we start, and then the next torch builds the black. And so then I start ignoring this beautiful fire guard, and that's just my safety zone. I'm dealing only in black now, and I start laying black on. So then we double that. We go to 15 feet, we go to 30 feet, and that way I want to take a bite that's half the black I got, and then I'm building by halves that way.
Landowners and managers need to understand what fire can do and how to control it.
Well, so you like what you're seeing?
Sure.
Okay. Not
This
consumption?
right here was beyond my imagination. I thought we'd never even get a fire started in this, much less be affected in it.
This crew and Bird are the only two left. Okay, we're gonna torch it out. You know, we always need to work on our communication, which includes the map and the radio and the people that you are immediately in charge of. So we're gonna do a head fire from here. I mean, we've got this thing lit from Motel to Zulu right now. And it's not gonna be a big fire, it's gonna be a wedge. And we're gonna probably light it off from Blackbird's buggy. And if we pile into all these vehicles like we did coming here, let's let the head fire go, and then just take as long as you want to drive down and look at it, and it will be moving away from us, hopefully. And lunch should be at staging 1 by the time we get there.
was making these cantaloupes today, I knew it'd be nice and warm, and you're just kind of getting a snacky box lunch instead of my normal full meal. And so I thought some good ice cold cantaloupes might just hit the spot today.
There's a lot of agencies here, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, but I haven't seen a fire yet where so many agencies come together so well together. So this was pretty incredible in my opinion. So an after action review is pretty straightforward. Dad or Chris, you might have to help me out on this. The first part is always, what were our objectives, right? And my objective today was have a safe and successful prescribed burn school and have everybody walk away with a little bit more knowledge and a little bit more tools in their task book of what to do. So this was kind of just a shot in the dark of my accumulation of what I've seen in Texas and maybe some ways to rectify that. Did I mention there was a helicopter here? Pretty cool. Okay. So anything we can do differently, if you don't feel like saying it out loud now, please take the time to send me an email. I'd love to have the feedback. I'd also like to know if you guys would be interested in doing this again. There's several places we can burn, different fire conditions, maybe doing a spring prescribed burn or winter prescribed burns. And there's lots of different ways you can burn too. Texas Parks and Wildlife, like they mentioned yesterday, offers technical assistance. So does NRCS. There's lots of contributing players in our fire culture here, and I would encourage you to seek out and use every single one of them, or just see what they're about. Well, that completes our burn for today, guys. I promised you I'd have you out of here by 1, so we're right on schedule. If you'd like to kind of mill around and look, you're welcome to go back into the unit and look at the fire effects. I just encourage you to really look and see how this burn did, because it's much different than when we started. And I think that's a huge testament to the applicability of fire throughout all seasons. For those of you who want to go back in the unit, just heads up, keep your situational awareness up. We still got 2 guys on UTVs and ATVs in the unit. They're cleaning up and patrolling the lines, making sure it's secure. So just, and they're lighting still. So just keep your heads up. Born out of a rancher's need, this burn school happened, and it was all about 2 days. Pretty intense, so we're gonna move through a lot of material today. You're gonna meet a lot of neat folks and a lot of new faces, hopefully, that come from all different aspects of fire. Introducing you to many sides of fire is very important, because When you are in fire culture, especially in Texas, you're not just dealing with a certain type of person. You're going to meet volunteer fire department guys, you're going to meet prescribed burn association folks, probably some agency folks, probably nuthead nerds like me, and also ranchers as well. So being able to talk with those types of folks and really effectively communicate fire is very important. And I wanted to really share that with you today. And so that's why you see the agenda that you do. I just can't thank you enough for being here. We're hoping to turn this into an annual event, maybe even more. This for sure is a summer prescribed burn school, so you're going to see some pretty interesting fire behavior tomorrow. Definitely being out in the field is the most important part and probably the most fun part. We'll give you some more details about where that burn is at, give you some GPS locations so you know where to get there and you can tell anybody else. But the burn tomorrow is probably the part that I'm most looking forward to.
Prescribed burns are an important part of rangeland management, and Texas A&M AgriLife is a leader in training landowners in the safe, productive use of prescribed burns.